Alrighty then, mic check. Happy Friday, everybody. It is about that time. It is, let's see, wow, 6:40 Eastern time. Past the market close, the week is over. We've got some really exciting stuff here to talk about tonight. So, title of tonight's little adventure here with us is Cyborg Futures Trading. We're going to talk about the combination of algorithmic trading with human intervention. Talk about seasonality. We're going to talk about quite a few things here. In fact, let's pop over to the notes. We're going to do the week in review. We've got Friday's trades here, trade notes, talk about those here today. I'll show you guys the trades that I took. We'll show you guys the trades from the members from this week as well in that week in review. We've got the WISHBONE trade entry strategy. Got lucky sevens in queue at the end of the day there, final 7 minutes of the trade day. And of course, advanced stop strategy. This one right here, this one is a gold mine. Let's talk about the bonus stuff that we'll talk about here going into the weekend. We are going to do weekend trainings. We've got your first 120 days if you want to know what that's like to get involved with our crew. ES, the beginning of the week, we talked about where we were on the map, and I told you guys this was going to be that easy week, and it was. Look at all of the numbers you guys are putting up this week here on ES. Let's look at the big time frame. We talked about this earlier this week as we dropped into this area that we were going to be able to play both sides now. We were coming into the golden ropes. We're no longer sitting up here in the nosebleed section, thank goodness. We were going to have some opportunities here inside the golden ropes. Look for those things to line up, HMDs, double dots, the harmonic setups, dual harmonics, harmonic confluence. Of course, some of our primary strategies that we are using in this market environment. We talked about that at the beginning of the week, and sure enough, on top of that, we had the VIX level was just way up there as we anticipated due to all of the macroeconomic events. We got Trump talking about tariffs, lots of China news coming about. We got Hong Kong stuff going on, and that volatility just kicked up like a boss. And of course, first thing we do each day before we kick in, remember we use the VIX for our little bit of a radar here. I'm going to type in exclamation mark VIX. There were several days this week where we were up above that 20 area, and we are well into that area above that 14. It's going to turn into a bit of an easy week. We had people just absolutely killing it. Again, everybody who is in here in our team, everybody's kind of trained to post your screenshots of the trades that you're taking. Let's take a few. Here's some of the P&Ls here. Again, I'm not here to brag about me. I like to brag about what our members are doing. Here's Ursulan killing it with 1530. Oh, this is a great setup here. This is so easy. Shark back trade. This little setup here right now. But bam, look at this. Off the back of the box. What's our stop loss? Stop, very tiny stop. Here's our entry. Here's our stop. Target is 50% of the reversal. Second target at the 100. Look at this beautiful trade off of this one. Same thing on the back side. Look at this red one over here to the left. Shark back, come in. What did we get here? Boom. We had the shark back. Remember, stop above the box. Here is the entry point. I'm going to put it in yellow here for the entry. Right there at the line. What's our drop spot? We're pulling down. We're looking for 50% on target 1. But the secondary shark showed up. So what do we do for that? If we have a red for the entry, we are exiting on the green, right? So we know that at the top of the green, not the back of the green, right? We are entering for our shark in the opposite direction on this one. And again, this is 2 time frames that we had this on. So you had harmonic confluence on top of this one. This was coming in on the candy bar singles. Remember, this is ES. This is $12.50 per tick. So almost 3 times the value that we're usually doing on NQ and the Dow. Go check out that over there. And I did post that one and those shark examples inside of that area as well. All right, so there's the red shark. Here we go. So we had the red shark come in, shark back play off of the back line, right? That's as simple as it gets. Shark back off the back of the line. Stop would be right here if we break that, okay? Easy one, 50%. Or, again, we also talk about the scalp target is you can hit the front of the box here. So if you got 3 targets, there's target 1, there's target 2, and of course we have to take target 3 here on this one. Otherwise, normally we're gonna hold this all the way down to the break of that shark, right, for the runner. Beautiful stuff here. We got it on the other side. This was in progress photo on this one on the ES, and we ended up finishing well above the top on that green setup there on ES, holding that runner. Beautiful trade setup there. Remember where it came from as I started to watch this one on NQ. I talked about this one. We also took this trade. Green dot showed up, came in, killed it on that one as we knew the target was coming in for this yellow line right here, right? Green dot showed up, boom, target 1, easy. And of course, we hold some for some runner to see if we got some more, and we did on that one. Ended up finishing out the day with just 2 or 3 trades there for that 1500. Not too bad. Remo tearing it up again there at 1440. He ended up closing the day. Oh, he added more to it. Here's Jerry hitting 100%, 14 trades. Well done. 2225, 2,225. Not a bad day there. Then we got some other folks. This is Simon posting in his YM short. Look at this beast here. He's a little behind this entry. Although I think this was in progress, so I think he actually caught this before that. This would have been a great trade. What do we do here? We got a salmon dot. This is an HMD play, right? HMD. We've got the perfect salmon dot, which is even more powerful, right, than the red. And of course, we also have double dot. So much going on right here. We got the double dot. Should have done those in red, but this is double dot reds coming in, plus the salmon dot. Holy shnikes. Come on, superpower plus. We got the harmonics. So we got HMD in on this as well. Perfect spot to take that entry. I think he actually, he doesn't usually trade this small. He was not, I don't think he's a 2 contract trader. So I believe this was his finish. He had already hit some targets along the way here, and Simon killing it on that one. Perfect setup. You could, let's see, manage the green day from Remo, 995. Just a fantastic week. All right. Okay, so let's take a peek at my trades here from Friday. This was the, I traded the secondary session here today. Bonus day, we got more than our 4K, 53.20 for me. A little bit more than our 4K target. Beautiful stuff here on a Friday. Again, the volatility is up. When the VIX is up, we're doing better, right? In general, the higher the VIX, the higher our P&L in general. So we had a double dot scenario here coming up at the highs. We were looking for the next entry off of a red scenario. We had 2 double dots that were working here. We got greens, we got reds. That means technicals are in play. So I can take the first cipher, take this as an entry here as it comes off. And I believe we got some additional confluence that came in. So yes, up at the, this is the higher time frame. So remember, we want to start with the higher time frame. What did I have that had confidence in this? I've got double red dots on the 89. Now again, if you are new with us and you don't know what that is, this is our highest range that we're looking at. This is, remember, tide, wave, and ripple. This is the tide chart. The wave is right next to us, which also, I believe, had some confluence. Let's take a peek. So coming down here on the 8s, which is one of our largest algo entry setups. So double reds on the 89, double reds on the 8s. So I'm looking for those short positions, and I'm also going to be looking for the short side into the end of the day close, because we've got these on these mid and higher time frames. So this is you're gonna see the confidence in this coming up. So this took a little bit of time. In fact, if I had done better on this, I would have actually entered on the secondary move inside of my box here on the cipher. It did break the box a little bit, which got me a little nervous, and I would have pulled those stops in and stopped out above that Darvis box there if this had not started to work for me, but got to build that position, and this thing comes right out of there, and here comes my targets. Targets 1 and target 2 were all filled as those go. Remember, we don't put all our targets in the same place. Remember, keep them separated. Lots of reasons around that, right? Here we go. Breaking straight through. There are my targets, getting targets filled. Target 1, target 2. Beautiful setup there. Was able to record that one all the way through. Now, prepping up for lucky 7s coming in on the market. Here we go. Wishbone trade came in almost immediately after that setup. We got a big bounce up into this area. This was a wishbone. Instantly went ahead and got in. It actually came back a little bit on me and went ahead and added to it. If it had broke down underneath VL1, that would have been my stop right under VL1. Let me zoom this in, because this is the one that folks had questions around the wishbone. This is relatively new for the setups. This is actually coming into the next release on .8, which is one of the new releases. This wishbone is actually going to be lit up for you. So this is a 3-bar play, 1, 2, and 3. This is the wishbone. If you want to see some more of these examples, again, go head on over there to the study materials and quizzes section, and you'll see the wishbone setup here. But this was a pretty easy one here. All I'm doing is setting my entry right above that top of that wishbone bar, and we are looking for targets up above. This is because of the range where we are. I'm looking for a 15 target for my first one, 15 ticks here on the NASDAQ. Not too shabby for your first target, and this one actually hit both targets, the 15 target and the 25. I know that doesn't look too far away, but again, this is a very large time. I wouldn't say very large, but this is a larger time frame. Each bar here is, let's see, I think this is an 18. Yes, so 18 ticks per bar. So one bar. Remember, we're trying to predict one bar at a time on a given range, which is how our algorithms work, right? And this is the perfect combination of human and machine. We let the machines do what the machines do well, and of course we execute the way that we do well, and of course we can adjust for news, etc. Right? Beautiful trade. There it is. So targets 1, targets 2, as the wishbone trade finished out. Another nice trade there. Here's a better look at it. So 2 targets filled on the wishbone as we broke out and through, and of course we come back down. And that's all I need though. 15 and 25 is plenty. Now remember, I'm looking for the short, but look what I just did. I took a long here. Why? Because at the bottom of this, we also had a green shark that had come in on the lower time frame just below this. Right here at the tail tip on the lower time frame, we had a push-up move right here plus the wishbone. So I gave it a shot here, and again, if it started to move down under that VL1, I would have gone ahead and stopped out for a small loss. But today it was 100% for me. Beautiful day. Again, I know it's like, well, you're using your example of your 100% day, Vinny. Where are your losses? Well, we have those too. Go search in our room there and type red day, and you'll see all of my red days as well. For those of you guys who are interested in, watching me fail, I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who love that. Yes, beautiful shot here early in the day here. This was my very, very first trade. I wanted to come back and show this on one of those great settings. Boom, boom, there you go. I chickened out on it a little bit, only took my 10 and my 15 off of this, but on ES, that's plenty, as you guys know. So that added to our P&L, 100% here for me today. Now, I didn't take this trade because I was already in NASDAQ, but I called this one out in the room. What is this called? Pop quiz time. All right, as I say this, those of you guys who have been in our crew should instantly already know what this is. This is an HMD play, right? Armada dot, or HMD for our football players. You guys know what that one is. All right, so beautiful setup there. Even though the red dot breaks, right? If you've got your stop set in at that 25 and you're letting it come in your direction, we start to break this line. We know we can hold that position. And where are we exiting? Into the shark. Now, where am I going to enter on the long side on the shark? We're waiting for it down here. So the shark still pushed up, but we did not get to the shark back. So this was not necessarily a play to the long side because we did not hit the back of the shark, and I did not have, anything else other than the shark right here. And again, we usually want to line things up and get multiples, or if it hits the back of the shark, that is my additional confluence to hit the back of that shark. It did not. So this is not an entry play here, but we did get the Armada dot with the target where we exit on the green. Beautiful setup for those of you guys who are in your final set of 40 days. I just talked to Doug yesterday. I know he's going into his final 40 days. We talked about this. That's the type of strategy and the type of target that you're looking for. We're no longer hitting those 10 and 15s in your final set. Now we're trying to maximize your winners because you've already learned how to minimize your losers in the mid set of 40 days. Now, if you're wondering what we're talking about in the 40 days and all that kind of stuff, we are about to talk about that right now. So final one here. Let's talk about the lucky sevens. Remember, this is the final 7 minutes of the day. Oh, shnikes. And why, let's talk about why we care about the final 7 minutes. Okay, at the end of the day, you've got all kinds of things going. You've got people taking profits. You've got folks or initiating trades based on what they see on the daily bar, doing swing trading. You've got big institutional buyers moving and adjusting positions at the end of the day. So we get this additional volatility. It's that usually it happens right at that final 7 minutes. Now, it's not every day, okay, but there is a really strong statistic. If you go back and look, 7 minutes at the end of the day, we get this extra move. So we've got a plan around how we trade this. And if you've been through our training programs, you know what this is, but I'm going to go ahead and reiterate it right here. So the question we're asking ourselves is, where is the latest trap? And what I mean by that is, look, there can be several along the way, but we're looking for the most recent, okay? Because recency is key when this occurs. So the most recent trap is this one up here. As we get the green dot push, we get a big, big move up. So everybody's like, oh, here we go. We're pushing to the highs, right? Now, as it starts to break down and we break under this, that means we know we've got traps traders, okay? So here is our traps traders. We identify this one every day at the end of the day. Right, so you got traps, traders, TTs, all right? So trap traders are stuck here. We start to push this straight down with no look back, right? We start to get this down. So anywhere in here, doesn't matter where, in the final 7 minutes, all we're doing is, it's sort of, that's why we call it lucky. Anything for that final 7 minutes, all we're doing is looking to pin those who were trapped in the opposite direction. This thing ends up closing out. Here is the 4 o'clock button right there, all the way down. And what are we looking for in that final 7 minutes? We are just looking for a very smooth move. One of the easiest setups and moves that we look for there after we have identified a trap move. On top of that, of course, we had the red harmonic that also kind of helps. HMD, we're ignoring this at the end of the day, as we know, because we're looking for that trap. And of course, we're pushing that down off of the harmonic and we're holding it to the end of the day. And there is 4 o'clock right there on the money. Lucky sevens trade, final 7 minutes of the day. Hold it in the direction of the move all the way to the close. But end of the day, with this much VIX, had some great opportunities there to close out our bonus day at around 5,300 for me. All right, so advanced stop strategies. All right, so let's zoom in on some dots. But it says level 5 of 15, so there are 15 layers here. So you see how it just brightens up right there? I'm holding shift and I'm scrolling with my mouse scroll wheel. Okay, little tip of the day there, easy one. See that? All right, so now I can see this nice little setup here, green dot coming in right here. This is the one I want to zoom into. Okay. Now, when it's too zoomed in, remember the size of the dot is going to be distorted, which is why I tell you guys you really need to be in at a level set like this. Now we've got both of these dots here. Where are our stops on a dot entry? Right. So here's our advanced stop strategy. The reason that we have such small stops and big targets here in a room, what allows us to do this? Remember that each one of these, this is not just a simple wave. We've had a lot of people come in and think that this is a simple wave setup. It's not. There's much more. I'm not even going to show you a dot, which is an Elliott wave. It's not just a simple Elliott wave. There is much more to it. However, an Elliott wave is required. That is just one of our requirements. On top of that, there are others. There are 15 other items that are being checked behind each one of these dots. And again, as this shifts in color, a blue or a salmon dot indicates that there are more than 7 points of confluence on that dot, which is why we call it the power dot as those come in. All right, but as we're talking through that, I wanted to kind of mention that. So the stop underneath one of these, I'm going to scroll this back just a little bit. So this is very, very tiny. Okay, right here. Okay, your stop is right there. And I know you're thinking, well, that's way too small of a stop. No, it's not. This is where your average stop should be on a dot entry. We're literally going to be giving up on an average overall 6 to 8 ticks. But what we really are targeting, we're trying to get that 3 to 4 tick stop out on any one of these trades. Again, we'll talk about the momentum exit here in just a moment, which is a little bit more advanced. But anytime you enter in on a dot, your exit should be right here. If that dot breaks, we talk about it all the time, dot breaks, get out, right? Just bail on it. It's either going to work or it's not immediately, and you will know. Okay, so this little area right here, that's your stop. However, this is the easy part. Okay, you guys got this first part. This is the simple stop. Okay, stop goes under the dot. Now we're going to talk about the advanced stop. Okay, this is the one, those of you guys who are in that middle 40 days scenario, I want to talk to you about this. So there are going to be dots that do break. Okay, so let's say that you get a dot break and that the price starts to move. We'll do P. So P for price. So we can start to see if the price were to break this by just a hair. Okay, start to break here. In fact, I had this earlier today on that HMD play at the end with the red dot above the red shark coming in on the harmonic for the Dow. That dot actually broke, but I was able to hold that because as it comes and the momentum started to push my direction, you can make a decision whether or not you're going to exit right at that dot, which is actually what I recommend most folks in general, unless you have a good idea that there is something else coming into play there, or you've got the additional confluence like I had there with the shark harmonic. Okay, so there are exceptions to that rule, but what I want to do is as the price starts to break that dot, okay, what I want to do is not just to necessarily immediately close out on this. What I like to do is see if I can get some push in my direction. Okay, so remember my initial stops are always 25 ticks. That's kind of hard to read there, but 25 hard stop is there, and it's a safety. This is in case the market just goes absolutely berserk, and you guys know what happens sometimes, like just unpredictable stuff, just all of a sudden, boom, the market snaps. But I'm never giving the market more than 25 ticks. So I have an automatic on all of my entries it starts at a 25 tick stop. Now I don't actually I'm never going to want to stop out at 25 ticks. I am looking, remember our goal is to never let the market's price touch your stop. And that doesn't mean move your stop. You don't move that stop. It's there as a safety mechanism in the event of, absolute catastrophe. You're going to give up 25 ticks max, which again, for us, that's really only 2 trades to get that back on one of our normal trades, right? So it's a 10 target and a 15 target and you're back. So that's why we calculate it at 25 for our max, because that way, look, you can catch back up to 2 trades. What you don't want to get in those situations, those of you guys who have probably been there before, we've all been there, you hold the bag, and we call it the bag holders. Don't be a bag holder, right? Do not hold onto that position, hoping and praying that position is going to work back or move back in your direction. Don't be one of those guys, right? So what we do is we're looking for this to come down. We see the price come down, and as the price comes down this area, as it kind of nudges up here, I'm going to add to my position right here. This is the advanced strategy. Remember, again, this is really, you need to practice this, folks. Do this in market replay as much as possible. So my first sets of entries are right up here above the dot. As I start to add to this position, I'll add here and I'll add here. These are my 2 places. As this price starts to move down, I'm going to add, and I'm looking for this thing to start to move my direction a little bit. Now, I'm not trying to make this into a winner at this point. I still want to take a small loss or basically right back to break even on this advanced stop strategy. But remember, it's always a hard stop at 25. If this ends up hitting 25, you're done. Okay, and we'll talk about adjustments, which you learn in the final 90 days. We won't talk about that now. So as it starts to come and break in this area, I'm adding. Now, the price oftentimes, I wouldn't say it's rare, okay? This happens often that the price just, boom, goes straight to the stop. And that's what it's there for, all right? Like if absolute catastrophe happens, this is going to happen, okay? But what we're looking for in my advanced level stop strategy is when I got a position that I'm very confident in because I've got a lot of other things going with it. I'm trading in the direction of the wave. I've got the favorable direction in my direction. I have seen multiple dot entry locations in this zone, stuff like that, additional confluence with the harmonic. Then I've got a little more confidence that this is going to break and go, like that one that happened to me at the end of the day there on that Dow. I'll show that one more time as a live example here in a moment. But as this starts to go, I'm looking for price to go ahead and push my direction. This I call a momentum exit. I want to take a momentum exit. Remember, right? So the momentum exit is as this price starts to move in my direction, I call it breathing. As it breathes in my direction, I'm exiting. Now, depending on where that breathe is, you'll start to get a feel for this, how I exit, okay? But I'm looking to get this breather and I'm exiting right here. I'm not trying to turn this into a big winner anymore, okay? I'm just doing what I call that breather. I'm trying to catch that breather and I'm catching the momentum in my direction. And do not wait until it pauses, folks. As it's moving in your direction with some speed, close it out, okay? Take a small loss. Don't try to be a hero. Don't be trying to get this back into the big green territory. Don't try to turn this into a winner. That's not there, okay? I would rather you close it out right here, and if it starts to move your direction, it gets up here, fine, okay? Re-add to position. You can always re-add into a position, but take the small loss, folks. I got to reiterate that to you, especially if you're in your middle 40 days of trading. Remember, we got the first 40 days of your training. Middle 40 days, I'm teaching you how to lose well. Final 40 days is teaching you how to win well, maximizing your winners. And this is what, most people don't focus on their losers. And if you were able to focus on your losers, I'm telling you, your winners will take care of themselves. Those of you guys who are new, this is where you're starting, okay? Our first goal is to get you to 500 a day, okay? So to 500 a day, we're taking $100 chunks. Now, sometimes you're gonna get more, sometimes you're gonna get less, but your goal, this is a vision board, folks, vision board. We want this in front of your eyes so that you are picturing, like, don't bite off the whole elephant, right? You wanna hit a $500 chunk? Here's a good way to do it, right here. Okay, we're doing it in chunks of 100 to get through your day. Now, if you end up at 100, 200, 300, that's okay, doesn't matter. If you are keeping your stop small and your target's big, like what we do, this is very, very achievable. And of course, then it's just adding zeros later on. Now, each one of those, what we're doing, pop yourself one of these beautiful Trump coins right there. So you hit that first 100, bam, fill it up. Second one, bam. Third, fourth, you get the point, right? Every time you hit a trade, this right here is your vision board. If you want to start them off this way and take them for yourself, a little bit of a mental trick for trying to get yourself to get there. This is actually how I started a long time ago I wouldn't say I started, but I put this system together for myself so that I could visually see my representation of, okay, what do I do next? I had 5 shots in the gun. I call it six shooter trading, right? Now I've got 5 shots in the gun here, but I think about a 6 shooter with a revolver. I've only got 5 shots. If I only had 5 shots at the beginning of the day, and then I get a 6th bonus shot, okay? If you have made $500 in your day, if you have cleared your sheet at that day, okay? Once you've got your 500, you get an extra bullet in the gun. You get the full 6 shooter, and you get to go for a bonus. And on that bonus one, you get to swing for the fences. Okay, so we talk about all that in our training program.